I'm Dave Dahl, creator of Dave's Killer Bread, a well-known, against-the-odds success story. To give back, we built a podcast studio called TalkCast PDX, a state-of-the-art facility to produce your own podcast. TalkCast PDX is a place where every opinion is accepted. If you've ever thought about it, do it. Use your voice and make a difference at TalkCast PDX.
A talk show that cuts to the truth, no matter how painful it might be, and no BS. Citizen Smith, Citizen Smith, Citizen Smith.
Here's a man who would not take it anymore. A man who stood up against the scum, the dogs, the filth. Here is someone who stood up.
It's time for Citizen Smith.
And good morning to everybody here at TalkCast PDX, our home base for the show in Portland, Oregon. Each and every day, weekdays, 9 a.m. live, so that you can chat, share your opinions as well. We welcome. This is also a no Olympic spoiler zone, which we learned the hard way yesterday. I was a little confused as to what was going on with the women's gymnastic team finals. And yesterday it aired primetime on NBC. But this is, of course, a recorded program, right? They're 13 hours ahead in Japan. So they don't want to play it at 3 in the morning. They want to play it in prime time because that's where the advertisers bought sponsorship ads and they expect to see a prime time audience. So this is what's going on, okay? They're having the events, they're recording them live, and then they're replaying them at prime time the following day, 13 hours later.
Very confusing.
So what you're seeing isn't live usually. And just keep that in mind, and so will we. Because I thought I missed the gymnastic finals, that it was on prime time, or, I'm like, I didn't see it. I've been scanning the TV. Then we were talking about Simone Biles and her dramatic withdrawal from the event because of mental stress or something mental. And we kind of spoiled it for you if you were listening.
Yeah, everybody, I got spoiled on the way in to the
Don't bring it up.
I meant this is from yesterday. That's how that all happened.
Oh,
because
then you spoiled it for me. You're like, I'm going to tell Ken.
I'm driving in. I'm thinking everybody knows. I don't know.
I walked through the door and you're like, did you hear about what happened? I'm like, no, what happened? Simone Biles dropped out.
Yeah, and they're saying that we took second and all this stuff. And this was like a morning show.
And the U.S. team got a silver. I'm like, what? I didn't see the game. I didn't see the championship match of the finals.
That tells you how much the morning radio in this town pays attention to things as well.
What did they say?
Because they're the ones that were telling me all this stuff.
They should put a spoiler alert.
No, there was no spoiler alert. It was, oh, no, we got silver and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
and
no,
I'm
don't be listening to the radio station spoiling the Olympics every day.
It's terrible. I mean, it's like, come on.
Yeah, people, are sleeping at 3 in the morning. That's when these events are being held in Beijing, Tokyo. So it's 13 hours East Coast time difference. And then back it up 3 hours here in the Pacific Coast. And we're all over the place with these crazy times that events are taking place live. So, and of course, what else is interesting is NBC doesn't say that these are recorded. They present everything like it's live. So not to disrupt the illusion of live broadcasting. They're obviously doing the play-by-play, and the announcers are doing it live during the event. But there's no mention in their broadcast schedule that this was a pre-recorded program and event you're about to see. They got so many of them, they probably be a pain in the ass to do it on all of them, but they should be somewhat transparent about that. And they should also be less ambitious and aggressive with their advertisements. Because I'm telling you, I am ad weary. I cannot take any more advertisements during the volleyball match of the U.S.-China volleyball game. I still never saw the whole event, the whole match there, because it was going on forever. And you'd watch like 2 or 3 minutes of the action, and then they go into 5 minutes of commercials. Then they come back for 2 or 3 minutes of action, then go into 5 minutes of commercials. And this is just, I have fed up. I shut it off. I was like, fuck it, I ain't watching this anymore.
I was watching weightlifting, and they kept stopping and say, "We'll come back shortly."
Yeah, because it's recorded. So they can stop.
Shortly. I'm like, okay.
I'm telling you, they're ruining my Olympic viewing experience with the inundation of advertisements. They've overdone it, and I don't want to sit through half an hour of commercials to watch 20 minutes of sports.
They should do it like some other sporting events where they keep the event up on the screen and then they show some.
They do that, but that's still distracting. I can't focus on the game. The bottom line is they oversold it. They went through a pandemic. Everybody had all this. They just jumped in with the Olympic advertising. It gets worse and worse every Olympics, and this by far is the worst I've ever experienced, and it's ruining my viewing experience, as I said. I will not sit through friggin' 2 hours of a volleyball match that took about an hour and 15 minutes in reality. So they want to keep it up, you're going to lose viewerships. I'm telling you right now. Or if I had I use the apartment complex's TVs, and they don't record programming. I swear I'm sure everybody's recording. And then you just fast forward right through the ads. But I can't do that. So I put the pause thing on and use the pause and try to get through them. And once again, somebody hit the play, changed the channel on me while I was going to the bathroom or something and walked into the room, and thus I lost some of the games and we were back to live TV. So my plan of attack has been going against me each time. I have a solution, though, to this problem, and I have a feeling this is going to be the future of the Olympic Games or any big games. Well, let's just say the Olympic Games. Streaming. Netflix should buy the rights to the Olympics, or Amazon Music, in their streaming platform, or even Disney. Huh? And it's a streaming of the Olympics, not live TV. Then you can access it anytime you want, watch the games anytime you want, and they leave it on there for a time limitation of, say, during the games only, and you have to pay a subscription. $9.99 to watch the Olympic Games, unlimited streaming for 2 weeks. I'd do it. I'd pay $9.99 to watch 2 weeks of the Olympic Games. They'll have the categories, the weightlifting. You can see everything right there when you want to. Live streaming, and then the recorded event. What do you think, Justin? Do you agree with that? Think it'll happen?
I think it'll cost more. It's not going to be $9.99. You're out of your mind if you think it's going to be $9.99.
2 weeks. We're talking 2 weeks of programming.
Yeah, exactly. So you're undervaluing it for sure.
All right. So all right, Mr. Marketing. What are you going to charge? I would say
it would be $29.99.
What? $20. All right.
$29.99.
No. That's too much.
Nope. That's $15 a week.
I will spend $20 for it.
Yeah, you cheap bastard. It's $15.
All right, but you can see the potential there.
Totally.
Now I'm in. All right, let's just take your price of $30 for the streaming and recorded streams.
Yeah.
And you have an audience of what? 100 million, 150 million, paying $20 for $30.
Yeah, they're there.
They're
not going anywhere.
If they have a worldwide audience, you could literally be like $1 billion for the subscription, and then you can have ads. In a limited fashion at the end or placed, in the middle, but not 5 minutes every other 10 minutes running or the way it is now.
And I think if they, don't want to buy the whole package, they should options to do daily packages for like $5.
Or you could have an ad-free package.
Or that'll cost you $100. That'll cost you $100.
You know what I mean? There's all sorts of ways. Look at Netflix. I'm available. We can sit down and work it out. Just pay me a good,
Just think of all the pay-per-view fights. People drop down $100 to watch these stupid fights. They could watch $100 for a whole 2 weeks of unlimited streaming with no commercials.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the way it is now, I have to toggle around the network's different pages on the TV screen. to find on the guide to find the programming. If it's all there, in one platform on my computer that is linked to my TV, and like I said, you can find the event you want to watch when you want to watch it. I don't have to wait for them to dictate to me when I can see it. And in a situation where we're in Japan 13 hours ahead, this is a perfect scenario for such a streaming service. I'm talking eliminating the cable. No TV. Strictly digital platform. That's the future of the Olympics and the broadcasting experience.
Oh, thank you, Swami.
Sometimes you got to think outside the box when these big CEOs aren't doing it. I have to do it for them, and I'm happy to do so. All right, let's talk a little bit about China. I always like to talk about China because they're a pain in our ass and troublemakers and a great threat to America in many ways right now, including their nuclear arsenal. They are building silos as we speak, constructing a network that could house up to 110 more nuclear silos in a desert in the remote eastern part of the country's Xinjiang province, according to scientists from the Federation of American Scientists, a nonprofit global think tank. This courtesy of the insider.com that is where I'm reading this from. But yeah, their nuclear expansion is going on as we speak, so they're just making the world more dangerous because they want to be a nuclear power, which they already are. Yeah, that's just what the world needs, more nuclear weapons to destroy the planet. That's really going to help us.
Just add it to their list of things that degrade the earth.
Degradate? That's an easy word to use. How about destroy?
Okay, destroy. We'll use destroy. I'm fine with that.
Chinese ICBMs could potentially carry more than 875 warheads, assuming 3 warheads per missile, when the Yumen and Hami missile silo fields are completed, up from the approximately 185 warheads it has on ICBM already. Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, ICBM.
I'm going to sleep so well tonight.
So China is already using mobile launchers and discarded these fixed silos, which are time-consuming, labor-intensive, costly, and vulnerable to be attacked and destroyed. But that's the way people do it now. They always build a missile that can react fast enough to get out of the silo before it's destroyed. I don't know. I read this. I'm like, really? Now China is thought to have about 350 nuclear weapons.
Oh,
add to that
great.
Another 150, 180, they're over 500. So they can destroy many countries with their nuclear weapons, like they threatened to do to Japan when Japan, irritated them the other week. We'll just drop nuclear bombs and wipe you out. That was one of the statements said.
Just because they were irritated?
Yeah, they were
Are you
irritated
kidding me?
by a statement that they said
What?
America should prepare for war with China.
Oh, my
or something
God.
to that effect. So their response was, you want to go down that path? We'll just wipe you out with nuclear bombs.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
And by the way,
I
enjoy
sleep well.
the Olympics.
Good luck.
Yeah. Bunch of mother, just being. This is the worst country to come around in a long time. They went from being very easygoing, we're just trying to get our economy flowing, to we want to blow up the world and have the ability to do it just as well as America. Although they're lagging far behind in nuclear weapons, Russia has 6,225 nuclear warheads and missiles.
That makes me even more uneasy.
And America has 5,550.
All right. We can destroy everybody.
So, China's got a long ways to go, but they're going to continue to build and try to, if they can blow up a few countries, they'll be happy. We can blow up the world. They can blow up a few
They
countries.
just want to blow up Japan and Taiwan.
Yeah.
And
Welcome. We got 3 world powers, 3 nuclear powers now, and they're happy to be a part of it all. Great. That's just wonderful. And we have our Chinese officials sparring with our diplomats in China, in Tianjin this past Monday. They all got together, argued, fought, tensions building more, trying to find out some sort of harmony in our relationship, but that's far off. China diplomats, Xi Feng, the vice foreign minister of China, said, quote, China says that, he said, America has an imagined enemy in China. We're building nuclear warheads, but we're an imagined enemy. We're talking about preparing for war with America, one of our ambassadors said a couple months ago, but it's an imagined enemy. We talk about, we fly warplanes around the South China Sea and build islands with missile silos, but it's an imagined enemy. We said there were just little islands, that we're going to park boats on, fishing boats, and now there are missile silo possibilities on the artificial islands they built in the South China Sea. But that's our imagination. Why should we be concerned? President Xi Jinping accused the U.S. of pushing an international order designed to benefit itself while holding back other countries, as if the U.S. introduced, quote, a law of the jungle where, quote, might is right and the big bully the small. I don't know what that means, according to a summary of his speech provided by the Chinese Foreign Ministry. So we've been running the world pretty much since World War II. I guess it's been the law of the jungle since then.
What is it in their imagination? Is that what they got going on?
The imagined enemy.
Oh.
China. U.S. has created an enemy that does not exist.
Ah.
They are doing nothing to convey that.
Interesting.
They said the U.S. should stop in this diplomatic meeting with, by the way, we have our Secretary of State, Wendy Sherman, attending this in the port city of Tianjin and the contingency. Don't know much about her, Secretary of State, Wendy Sherman. Anyway, she's been saddled with the responsibility of dealing with the liars in China and the imagined enemy of America.
Imagination.
There you go.
Mr. Zhao added that Beijing called upon the U.S. to stop infringing on its red lines, which happen to be Taiwan, Hong Kong, and the northwest region of Xinjiang, and other issues that China regards as its own affairs. We should not be concerned with human rights, and we should not be concerned with genocide. America should mind its own business. It's kind of like what the Nazi Germany's told us about the Jews. Jews, nothing's wrong here, everybody.
Move along. Nothing to see.
Nothing for you to talk about and see.
Bye.
Yep. It's our problem in Germany, not yours. It's not a problem. Everything's fine.
Imagination.
And you shouldn't be bothered with criticizing us and observing our genocide. Ms. Sherman said she raised Beijing's crackdowns in Hong Kong and human rights abuses in Xinjiang and Tibet, as well as Beijing's provocative actions in the Taiwan Strait and malicious activities in cyberspace, according to U.S. officials. That's what she raised in the conversation. Of course, these are imagined problems.
I play that every time now.
Yes. that was the
Imagination.
We imagined the cyber attacks. They didn't happen. Give me a break. I don't know. We got a real problem over there. It's never going to... The diplomatic relation, and then they always bring up, we were trying to avoid conflict. We're trying to avoid conflict is always mentioned. In other words, we're trying to avoid war. And you talk to a lot of experts, and they say that ain't avoidable anymore. We're heading on a clear-cut path of war with China.
That's going to be very, very bad.
Price of, Chinese food will go up because they get a lot of their ingredients from there. Forget about that.
Americans will go crazy. Panda Express will close. Everything will go nuts.
We allow their students to come here and learn in our colleges, and then they go back and they build war machines to fight us and join the propaganda machine and become, part of the Communist Party. So we educate them here very freely, send them back, and they become our worst enemy.
When you lived in China, did you see a large military presence everywhere? Did you see guys standing on corners, things like that?
No, they don't.
Military
they don't have
type guys.
They don't. Where I worked at the China Media Group, they had the military training base, a little training area right next door, and you hear them training and yelling, but otherwise you don't see them. They stick them out in the desert somewhere, in the Gobi Desert to train, or northern China in the outskirts somewhere. You know, they're not in the city of Beijing. Has got them around there, of course, but when you go around, you see the police, but they're not as prevalent as the police in America. I'm honestly, like, you can walk through the streets of Beijing and you hardly ever hear or see a police car.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, people are very well behaved. I mean, for the most part, they don't have guns.
Yeah.
You know, they don't really, you don't see homeless people anywhere, not in Beijing at least. And every now and then, you know, a few will be out on the sidewalk, but it's a pretty safe city to walk around. And yeah, you hardly ever see police activity.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish that was here.
So when I come back to
Portland
America, this is one of the things that shocks me.
Yeah, I wish Portland, didn't have much police activity.
I'm not saying we should be. Sometimes there are some aspects of Chinese culture and policies, and that I agree with, and I think are working. That have shaped a society there that's safer, but at the same time, you've got an autocratic rule where you don't have a court system that works there. When you go into the courts, it's not like you get a lawyer and you have a chance for appeals. And, there's one guy there, a judge, and he's like, you're in 5 years, see ya. Next. But I just stole a candy bar. Anyway, next.
What? Candy bar?
I want to appeal. Next.
Imagination.
But it's a safe place. Feel safe traveling anywhere there.
Yeah.
That's a nice feeling. When you travel in America, you're kind of looking over your shoulder all the time.
When there's suppressed people, it's a little easier to
Well, like
get
I
around,
said,
I
nobody
guess.
screws around there because they go to jail like that. And they don't have weapons for the most part. They don't have guns. The biggest problem in America is guns. That's our greatest issue for safety. Take away the guns and you make America 70% safer. But we're not going to do that because, it's our right to bear arms. And in some respects, I respect that as well because who knows when you might need them to, with an oppressive government or something that happens. We have the right to form a militia. That's our self-preserved rights to protect ourselves from authoritarianism and autocracies. And that's a whole other topic. I'm not going to even try.
That's a heavy show.
Whoo, yeah, it's way more than I can take
You
on.
need some professors and shit.
Yeah,
in here
you
for
need
that.
a whole bunch of think tankers there.
Think tankers. A bunch of guys smoking weed, sitting around trying to figure stuff out.
Justin. We got this concern about the U.S. population fertility rate. I brought it up in the past. And it's worldwide. China's concerned about their population going down, and Japan certainly has a problem with it.
It needs to go down.
And
Too many people.
I say that too, but you say that, and people say, no. The country's well prepared to take care of the population as is, and we'll lose economic growth.
How much food do we throw away every year? Come on.
Yeah, how much do we exploit the seas for fish that are being overfished?
There's nowhere to put them. Bullshit. There's deserts and miles of land. Build it. That's what I say. House them all.
America's population is decreasing. Early estimates show the total U.S. population only grew by 0.35% for the year ending in July 1st, 2020. Some demographers cite an outside chance the population could shrink for the first time on record.
Woohoo!
Population growth is an important influence on the size of the labor market in a country's fiscal and economic strength. We always put that ahead of environmental concerns. I say the population has exceeded the ability for the planet and our country specific, as well to handle the numbers of human beings trampling the earth. And that's what we do. We don't quietly and softly walk across the earth. We trample it to accommodate our population growths and housing and farmland that eliminates what was wild and natural and in balance in the ecosystem to an unbalanced world that is all human-made, eliminating what was wildlife and wilderness. So I say, whoever the hell's talking, these articles and quotes are from people that always looking at it from an economic standpoint, never from an ecological standpoint. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. We got to start thinking about the ecology. Less people is, I say, great for the planet and the future of humanity. I think we've far exceeded what the capacity is of this earth to sustain. And you'll find other people that say, oh, you're crazy. We can sustain everybody fine the way it is. Well, if you're in some of the first world countries, but 60% of the countries, third world or second world, and barely get water and die of diarrhea, the children. And food is not plentiful, they hunt the wildlife. What about those areas? We should be taking some of those people. They say the key is immigration for America's population growth at this point. So more people will come from the other countries into our country, and they will fill the void of what's going on in the current population base for fertility in children.
They do that quite a bit already.
Well, they're saying we can do it a lot more.
Okay.
Over time, a lower fertility rate will lead to a higher ratio of retired beneficiaries to tax-paying workers, which is expected to raise the cost of Social Security and Medicare. We're already there. The baby boomers are, already a big problem with that. Sorry, but, I'm at the end of that group, and you got to take care of me. It's our agreement. When I was born, you said, we'll take care of you near your end days. As you get older to your senior citizen years and elderly times, we're there to take care of you with Social Security and Medicare. Thank you, my government. Don't back out on me now, because we don't have enough taxes coming in. Don't be doing that. I paid my dues.
Imagination.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The immigration factor. The shifts will make the U.S. more reliant on immigration to grow the workforce, economists say, although that faces its own pressures. Mexico's fertility rate has steadily declined, while China I was surprised to read this. I'm reading this from, of course, the Wall Street Journal, one of my go-to papers. And Mexico's fertility rate is steadily declining. Didn't know that?
Wow. Predominantly Catholic country. You don't think of that.
Good point, Justin. Yeah. Mexico's fertility rate steadily declining, while China and India, two other top suppliers of immigrants to the U.S., face talent shortages of their own, along with China's own flattening population growth.
Maybe we can get a job in Tokyo. They need people.
And they've got their little issue there, the elderly, the growing old, and the kids having less kids, and the workforce getting smaller. And we got a massively changing world, like we've never seen. We're at a historic moment in humanity. Where we go from here is going to be drastically changed from where we've been. I'm really curious to see over the next 20 years what the hell happens. Fascinating. Mother Earth, will she survive? Will we as a population decline? And will we as a world become more peaceful or head into World War III?
Imagination.
I will end on that note. I don't know if I get too heavy sometimes on this show, but I really just like to think through these things as I read. And, these are drastic changes going on around us from country to country around the world. Never seen it before in my life. I mean, this, in my entire lifetime, is some of the most extreme situations and conditions we're facing. We've been going along real easy in the world for decades, right? Since World War II. Have kids, plenty of food. We're growing as an economy. America's number one. All that is changing before our eyes. That does it for today's Citizen Smith. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. I'll talk to you tomorrow.